Hello everyone, I have something very weird today, and so we are looking at defunct maps, but just tell me when you realize when maybe it looks a little bit familiar. Any idea yet? Well, maybe this will jog your memory. Actually, maybe not. So, for those who got it, well done. But we're looking at CP Process A1. So this is an alpha version of Process, and I am going to be a little quick with it because I do actually want to look at a beta version of Process after this. But we're looking at some of the old versions of Process and just seeing the map and how it kind of developed to what it is now. So once you know it's Process, you can kind of see where it's coming from. Of course, you have 1, 2 doesn't exist, 3, 4, and 5 are all there. The point itself is very elevated, and there's just a weird pipe cluster blocking the way. At least it's clipped off like a ramp. That's nice. But Splash is terrible. Yeah, taking a fight here is probably horrendous, and probably one of the reasons why it was removed. The spawn lets out to 2 sides, and there's just a big window, so the defenders know exactly where you're trying to go. Now, of course, as an attacker, you have the vision of what side is being held, and you get to come out the other. So that's an interesting little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not lobby, necessarily, but whatever. It's an interesting design decision. And then, of course, Heaven is not really isolated at all. It's just high ground. Very bombable and spammable from really wherever. So this would be a much harder place to hold on Disset. Now, of course, 1 is way further away. But still, like a team taking lever through 1, you are just caught in Heaven versus being able to actually kite on the current version. And yeah, the spawns are just very tucked away, very spammable, and they're very close together, so it might be easy to lock people out of spawn. Outside of that, I mean, holding last is weird because getting into 3 and 4 from the point is a little difficult to do. You'd have to do some weird jump or something. So actually, you know, pressuring lobby and holding last is going to be a much less comfortable endeavor. This gun spot would still be very strong. It might be spammable from 5, but of course 5 is a very difficult door to pressure. And while there aren't crates for a soldier to stand on and pressure this, it's still going to be easy to hold. There's still good high ground here that can't really be challenged with splash damage. I suppose you could splash the ramp, but yeah, the hold would still be pretty strong, I bet. Especially when you can't spam down a gun from 2, which is a good strat teams use nowadays. So, lobby only lets out into lower lobby, basically. And the real weird thing that you're about to see is lobby actually connects into IT, and there is no upper IT. And what is that just a little room? This is what would be upper IT, is what the point connects to. Is it just a room with a pack or something? Oh, wow. So this lets out down here, and there's a pack here. Wow, that's very weird. So this might be a place you route when pushing out or something. Very strange stuff. So IT is very disconnected. You can't get on top of the point from IT. But lobby connects to everything. Very, very strange stuff. Now, of course, holding on the point is still going to be quite powerful. Oh, no. Is this a shutter that's going to close? I know sometimes, like, maps, the shutters freak out when you load them in. There is like a shutter here, but it's not behaving like a shutter. Let's go. I want to believe that this is a shutter, because if this isn't, this is one of the worst sniper points in the entire game. And sniper's still very powerful in sewer. But yeah, I'm just going to assume this is a shutter, because there is a shutter here, even though it's non-functional right now in this alpha version. But yeah, this is sewer. Now, sewer functions pretty similarly. Obviously, as a team, you'd still probably hold on the point. Choke is actually much bigger in this version. Probably easier to pressure as well. Because you just have like high ground over the other team. And as a demo, actually, you could just be sitting comfy here, pressuring that, and then potentially taking space once you spam the demo off. So pressuring choke might be a little easier. I mean, pressuring into 2 is not that difficult in the current process version. You can usually take some space and do whatever. But the hold would probably look similar. You might actually play on top of the point more often as a demo. It's like easier to spam out choke from up here. And then Al-Qaeda actually just lets out immediately into the same height and the same kind of lane as the point itself, as opposed to being isolated from it. So that's like a very threatening door to take space through. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Let's go look at the mid. Another thing as well you'll notice is it's a completely different design. It's like Badlands style rocks and dirt. And is this all... Oh my god, this is all water. Let's go soldier real quick. This is... I forgot about this. It is water. This is wild. So, by now, my video about water jumps will probably be out already, so you already know all about it. But I had no idea. Like, do you see how high that bomb goes? And then no fall damage. Now, my C-taps aren't great, but... And that was not a C-tap. But just a single rocket jump, and I'm all the way across the map. Crazy stuff. Yeah, and I didn't know the entire mid was just water. So, yeah, you're not taking fall damage pretty much anywhere. Bombs are going to be absolutely insane, just hyper blasting bombs. This is crazy. I did not know this was all water. I had completely forgotten about that. What is this? Does this connect to IT? Okay, yeah. I mean, IT connects to mid. It just connects here in the current version rather than either side, which is weird. I think having 2 doors connect to mid through IT is like very weird, and 1 door makes a lot more sense. It makes it a lot more spottable for countersack because you just have a player stand on top of the crate and they get to spot IT during the countersack, versus if you tried to play a modern countersack positioning, you'd like have your demo ready to lock out choke, and they're right in front of this door. And a player could just commit on them. So you'd need to actually have a player in IT spotting it, which is weird. But the big thing, of course, is just water on mid. That is insane. So yeah, fall damage just doesn't exist here. The bombs are going to be crazy. Wow. But yeah, I think with that, we'll just hop into the next version and just see how things developed. So the other one I have downloaded is B4. I don't know exactly what gets tweaked here and there between all the different versions. These are just the ones I have downloaded. But I think, you know, the alpha version and then this beta version, and then of course I don't think I'll hop into the modern version, but you're all familiar with it. So you'll still be able to see the differences and just kind of how this map has aged and developed in the development process. No pun intended. So, as you'll notice, spawn looks basically as it is now. I don't know if there's any differences. The actual style of the map is now pretty much developed, so it does look a little more uncanny because so many things are the exact same, such as like the design of the walls. A lot like these are the same. But then you look at this and it's like, wow, this door is so narrow. Even though it's the same general geometry as Heaven. And then the point is super high up and difficult to get to. This pipe still exists, and it still has... Does it still have splash errors? That first rocket like went through? Yeah, so there's still going to be splash bugs here. And it just disrupts the flow of the map a lot. I know you can just walk over it, but it's just weird. Why? Obviously it got removed for a reason. Yeah, it is strange. But now you have 2. You have a rollout door. And let's go back into lobby. So the lobby to IT connection has been deleted. Lobby's pretty much the same. There's no like hiding spot by 5 with the big boilers. And this is actually a small ammo pack. That's miserable. I take this ammo all the time in lobby. And pushing into last on process is generally an ammo intensive endeavor, because you just have a pack there and a pack here for pretty much all your explosives. So I don't like that. The lobby itself is pretty similar now. Of course, the pack is placed differently, but you could play this pretty similarly. The geometry is quite similar. I'll keep saying the word similar. Oh, wow. Rollout does not have a ramp leading to the point. So rollout is basically a pushing out only thing. You cannot bring your beam up to pressure 2, for instance, or bring your beam to enter lobby through upper lobby. No, you'd have to go through lobby and walk upper, which is vulnerable to spam, or go through 1 into last, out 2, which obviously, again, would not work out. So that's really a big deal, and something that's very different. Trapezoid's still here. Is this something you can stand on? I don't know why. Yeah, it makes sense that this got just erased and replaced with wall, because it looks like something you can stand on. As far as the point itself goes, you'll notice there's actually cover here for the players holding the point. And in some sense it is cover, but also it just feels kind of obstructive as well. It becomes harder to kind of spot things while holding the point. But I wonder if you could still spam like lock and load pipes through lobby and have it land where you want. This is still here, of course, in the current version. And then there's just random things to get stuck on on the sides of point. It's a little weird. Yeah, just some general clutter. You'll notice this little spot is a nice back cap hiding spot, I suppose. And look at all this water. This is what I was thinking of when I was making that water video. Because, yeah, you just have all this water to play around with and do... Ooh, the skybox actually is not that high. For there being water here, that's like a pretty low skybox, all things considered. But anyway, yeah, interesting ideas with these water jumps. I wonder if... That's going to be hard to get through choke. I'm not a good enough jumper to do that. But, yeah. Water on 2, again. Interesting little quirk of this old process version. And you can... Oops, that was a failed C-tap, I'm pretty sure. You can pretty easily just fly all the way to roll out from just so far back with just a C-tap, versus in the current version, even though this point doesn't feel much smaller than the version we have now, you'd still need to do like a wall jump or a wall shot or something. If you're wondering why sewer is called sewer, this is why. Oh, is this water as well? Just a thin little layer. Obviously, this doesn't have any gameplay implications. Good luck taking fall damage in here or jumping in here. But yeah, this is why it's called sewer, because you have sewer doors connecting it. As far as gameplay goes, I think just playing in these little tubes with shutters at the end is just kind of awkward. Because you don't have the same interesting dynamics of like dodging spam while peeking the shutter. It's just kind of a one-way thing. Now this shutter does open pretty far back, so it's a little easier to jiggle peek stickies. But yeah, and then Al-Qaeda. Now there's actually a wall cutting this off, so of course people peeking this and spamming out players on the point evidently proved to be an issue. But there's some of the same ways to hold this. Oddly enough, you can kind of hold both doors from here, because in the current version, of course, the shutter is flush with what this wall is, so you can't actually see if someone's peeking it, versus now if a soldier was playing towards sewer, let me actually just jump up here, you can actually see when it's being peeked and see when this is being peeked, which is interesting. So yeah, a lot of differences on 2, but you can start to see... Oh, can you hide under this as well? This is... Okay, you can't, but still, this is just kind of dumb. But you can see the shapes are starting to form. Like, this rock is still in the current version. Let's look at IT. Oh, so it's a bit of a jump up there. It's not just a walkway. And the fact that there's no wall here means this is a very spottable flank route. It's very easy to see if anyone enters and very easy to spam it while being kind of with your team. And if not, like, just a player on the point can spot it. So you don't even really need a dedicated spotter on the flank like you do in the current version, where you'd either need someone playing on the floor spotting lower IT, or a player up top, but around the corner where they can spot it. Now you could play your flank scout on the point, ready to deny soldier bombs while still spotting the flank, which is very strong and makes sacking into this point a lot more difficult. But other than that, it's a lot of similar stuff, just random things to hide. There is a pack, and what's a little different is that this pack you could spot from back here and actually spam out, but now you kind of have to commit to a different angle, which is a little bit different. But let us go to mid. Oh, there's no pack here. I was trying to get some ammo. Oh, this is all closed off. That's weird. So in the current version, of course, this is not closed off at all. Oh, and this is a small pack. Ammo would have been miserable on this point. Also, there's like weird clipping around this. I do not like... It's like an invisible wall type of deal. Can any class jump up to rock? I'm a little slow as a soldier. Oh my goodness, that's weird. So you might have to... Well, a sniper up here wouldn't be that good. Snipers like to play on this roof if they're trying to take some crazy peek into mid. On disad, of course. Oh, and this is where the medium pack is. Yeah, I'm glad those swapped. They'd, of course, play back here if it's disad or by choke or just wherever. Yeah, that's weird. I keep saying things are weird because, of course, it is. A lot of better trap locations with just the kind of clutter going on. Like that would be a nice one. What else? What else? Forward spawns are still in the same location. Generally, the mid is pretty similar. Like, the sewer geometry is all the same. Yeah, all this stuff is pretty much the same. So you still have, like, the same kind of high bombs that you can go for, which is neat. But yeah, the pack is going to be a lot more awkward to maneuver around because it's just... there's a fence in the way versus the current version. And does the current version have this fence? I think it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's only a fence here. I don't recall. Even though I've played the map, you know, thousands of times. Okay. Is there anything else? Because we've come to mid. And of course it's symmetrical, so both sides are the same. Or you could, like, sneak. Oh, it would be hard to trap that up. Actually, no, it wouldn't. Yeah, that's actually a nice trap spot. Oh well. So you can see a lot of the... some of the points stay pretty much the same. I mean, mid is very similar, just minor things like different rocks and whatnot. 2 is a little bit distinct. IT is, of course, very different. But the point itself is quite different on 2, and just random props. And then last, and especially lobby, like connector, this is all very different. In particular, like, this is very different. There's just random fences that don't exist anymore because they just kind of disrupt the flow of the map and the movement of players. But yeah, really cool to kind of take a look back on forgotten times, back when maps were in the prior versions, even though we have just the current one in process, as well as a map that, like, is very inoffensive and is, like, at the time was brand new and, like, the covered in chrome and considered, like, the harbinger of modern 6's mapping. But yeah, it had older versions, and the older versions were weird, man. So it's easy to forget that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope it was interesting to look at some of these old versions, and I'll see you guys next time.